Friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are gonna have 13 5-star predictions. I know it's very random, but most of the 5-star predictions that I'm about to talk about are scary. Most of them are horror novels, so I thought, I have to pick the number 13 because the number 13 is cursed, if you didn't know. So, I have 7 that are on my digital TBR. And I say that like it's a question, like I should already have this information. But we'll talk about it. We'll talk about the 7, I think 7, that are on my digital collection first. Like I said, 90% of these are horror novels, and the other few that aren't are thrillers, so they could potentially be scary, but I don't think that this one in particular will be. Anyways, let's start with choice number 1 is The Grand Hotel by Scott Kinmore. This one just sounds like really fun. It follows this hotel called the Grand Hotel, and it's basically if you go to this hotel, you don't leave. And I don't know what that means. Maybe the clerk that signs them in. Yeah, the clerk that signs them in at night, maybe he's killing them. Or maybe it's just a haunted hotel. I don't know. I have lots of questions, but I want all the answers, and I can't wait to read that one. Then I have Last to Leave the Room by Caitlin Starling. I honestly have no idea what this book is about. So how can I assume it's going to be 5 stars? It's all about vibes, and everyone was talking about this book when it first came out. It's also going to count for one of my reading challenges. One of the prompts is to read a book that I know nothing about. I know 0 about this. I think it's Dark Academia, but again, I could be completely wrong. So that is kind of like my wild card right there, because I really don't know anything. I just know that people were loving it when it first came out. This next one I'm super excited for. I am going to have a hard time waiting until October to read it. And that is The Girl Next Door by Jack Ketchum. I'm pretty sure this guy kidnapped this little boy, and he's like in the basement, or there's something about being held hostage in a basement. I think that sounds trippy, or it's just like a haunted house story, but I'm pretty sure that I was researching it and that it's like there's a kid being held hostage in the basement. That sounds terrifying. Then the next one is more of a thriller, but I could see myself giving this one 5 stars. It is Creep by Jennifer Hillier. I've never given Jennifer Hillier 5 stars yet. I've read a couple things by her, but this one follows you as you are being stalked by a crazy psychopath stalker. Yeah, okay. Need I say more? Probably not. This next one is just really an author that I'm assuming I'm going to give 5 stars to at some point. So I'm going with Dark Across the Bay by Anya Allborn. I really, really like her writing. I read Brother by Anya Allborn, and I would not recommend that to very many people because it's bad, but like I enjoyed it, but it was really bad in the most like terrifying way possible. So I'm assuming that with some of her other books that I might end up giving her a 5-star at some point. I don't really know what Dark Across the Bay is about. I just know that I really like the cover, so I guess that could also be my cover pick. But I think I'm good with Last to Leave the Room as my cover pick. Yeah. So those are the ones that I don't own physically that I'm assuming are going to be 5 stars. Here is the rest. I have 2 that are thrillers, and the rest are horror novels? Question mark, I think. So the first one that is a thriller is The Prize Girl by Amy K. Green. A murdered pageant queen, an obsessed fan, and a small town with buried secrets. That's all I had to know. There's a tiara on the tree, and it's like the investigation into what happened to the pageant queen. Like, obviously she was murdered, but who did it? Obviously it's the obsessed fan, but who is the obsessed fan? I'm just thinking that this has potential to be a new favorite book. I'll talk about the other thriller real quick, and then we'll get back to the horror novels. The other thriller is The Last Guests by J.P. Pomeroy. This follows a married couple, Lena and Kane, who don't really get to go to their lake house very often, so they spent a weekend at their lake house, and everything goes horribly wrong because someone is stalking them. I hope we get the stalker's perspective. Okay, the rest are thrillers. I mean, horror novels. This one is a literary horror. This is The Rabbit Hutch by Tess Gutney. This is a small neighborhood, and there's some kind of act of violence that starts the Rabbit Hutch, and yeah, I'm not sure what happens after that. I don't even know what the act of violence is, but I'm thinking this one might be more of an emotional horror novel. So, we're there. Then, Just Like Mother by Anne Heltzel. This is a cult type of story. And that cover just looks very disturbing. Why did they cut off the doll's head? Why? Yeah. And it's about, like, her friend, Maeve comes back to her small hometown and is best friends with Andrea, who just, like, they lost contact, but now that she's back, they're best friends again. But I think there's some kind of cool aspect. Then we have Reprieve by James Hahn Matson. This one sounds epic. It takes place on April 27th, 1997. 4 contestants make it to the final cell of, like, this haunted escape room. So, like, yeah, I think people start dying. So, I mean, the most amount of people that can die is 4. That might not be that entertaining, but it might be kind of entertaining. But it's like a haunted escape room. And I don't know, that cover just looks pretty cool. Okay, this one, I'm thinking that I'm being a little gutsy because I have read from this author previously several times, and generally I either hate his work or I give it 3 stars. I have given one Stephen King book a 5-star, and I think if I'm gonna give Stephen King another 5 stars, he has to earn it, and I'm pretty sure that he earns it in Misery, because this follows an author named Paul who has just finished writing this series, and this woman, Annie, is obsessed with that series, but she hates how he ended the series, so she takes him hostage during a snowstorm and she tortures him until he writes a different ending to his book. I would also like to see that movie. I've never seen the movie either. Then we have The Butterfly Garden by Dot Hutchinson. Beauty has never looked so terrifying. Near an isolated mansion lies a beautiful garden. In this garden grows luscious flowers, shady trees, and a collection of precious butterflies, young women who have been kidnapped and tattooed to resemble their namesakes. Overseeing it all is the gardener, a brutal, twisted man obsessed with capturing and preserving his lovely specimens. But when the garden is discovered, they also discover a survivor. And then the last one, this one's kind of more thriller than horror, but I would say it's like a little bit of horror. Anyways, it is With Malice by Elaine Cook. This follows 2 friends who travel to I think they travel to Italy or Greece, and now Jill wakes up and she's in a hospital bed. She has no memories of going on this trip with her best friend. They can't find her best friend. There's a lot of questions. If I'm being honest with you, this is probably the least likely of my 13 5-star predictions to be 5 stars. But I still think I'm gonna like it. So I don't know if that makes sense or not. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel if you're new around here. Thanks so much for hanging out.